Hello, friends, and welcome to day number 42, week 6 of Daily Map done. Today I figured we'd go back to Wonder Draft and we make a continent map with a bit of a twist. And the twist is that I kind of want to make a wintry map. Because it's something I haven't done before. So first things first, let's go to our land generation tool. Let's make sure we're recording audio today, because that's something that didn't happen yesterday. It's amazing. 2 days ago, I make a 5-hour daily map so long that I can't justify making anybody watch it. And then yesterday, because I was recording time lapse the day before, yesterday, I had the delightful mispleasure of forgetting audio, because I recorded the time lapse without audio. I don't know why, because I was gonna delete the audio clip from it anyway. But yeah, so that was a disaster. Fortunately, yesterday's map was super simple. I even forget what it is. Oh right, it was that campsite battle map that's actually a really good idea. I needed one of those for my campaign anyway. Anywho's what's and now's it's hello everyone, good to be back. I'm not 100% sure if I liked the time lapse idea, by the way. If you're a fan of the channel, if you're one of like the 7 people subscribed to me, if you could let me know if the time lapse actually worked for me. I thought it was like a seizure-inducing mess, but that's probably because I shouldn't have made 5 hours into 5 minutes. I should have made it into like 20 minutes. Make that nice and big, fill the whole space like that, or not. Thank you. Invalid setting shape. Fantastic. Oh, that just got rid of it. There we go. Yeah, what was I gonna say? I think time lapses could be an interesting way to do daily map, just because it's probably a lot more watchable than my droll, but at the same time, I'm not sure if that's like the spirit of daily map, if that makes any amount of sense. Yeah, that fits nicely. There we go. Except for the fact that it went over again. That's so weird. Screw it. We'll cut that down into a different shape. Alright, now we have our map layout here. Looks a little bit stretched, but that's okay. First things first, though, we are gonna go to the brush tool. We're gonna grab some snow color, and we're just gonna fill. I want to look for the differences between these, but ooh, that's a bit darker. I think that's good. That's even lighter. See, this is supposed to be like light, medium, dark, but this is the most medium, and I think that, yeah, that one's the most bright. That's the most white of all of them. That's a bit more muted. That's even more muted, and then that's a little bit brighter. I think we're gonna go with the really bright, kind of wintry look to it. I think that we should also get rid of that little blemish there. Sorry if I'm yawning, I literally just woke up. So you're gonna have to deal with a little bit of a yawny cartographer today. We're gonna get rid of that, we're gonna get rid of that. Next things next, we are going to go ahead and do the landmass outline. We have to change it to something a lot less. We can actually probably make this like a deep green, and it'll look pretty good. And actually, probably a deep blue will look even better. Yeah, it makes it pop pretty hard. Coast effects distance, landmass outline blend. And we're gonna go with 3-tiered, just because I'm a fan of 3-tiered. Then meander the coastline out. Coastline color. We're just gonna bump the alpha a little bit. And then, you know, we'll do the same thing we have done. We'll take the there we go. That looks about right. Although we do have that that little darkness, little patches of darkness here. And that is it's dictated by this landmass outline. Could actually do like a white and then do the coastline as something darker like that. And then in the water settings, we could go ahead and kind of devalue the water a lot. Actually, no, we would want the water to be high valued. Cut the stain. Maybe even change the water texture to something like paper, and then you go to water settings and then the water hue and turn it blue, because for some reason it doesn't start that way. That's a very green. We're looking for, yeah, that's good. And then that's a bit blinding, so we're going to turn that down a little bit to this kind of nice icy blue. Stain on the paper actually kind of looks okay, so we'll keep it. As for land ground texture, paper will make this look very uniform. Black and white will make this look very black and white. Equirectangular will just look bad. Fetal will just look bad. Vintage will look okay. I think worn works the best because it gives the land a little bit of definition. Although, I do now think that potentially using a darker ice color to let the outline pop and make it a little bit less offensive on the eyes certainly will help. Okay, so we have our little tundra map here. Let's see. What about starting off this time with maybe a lake or two? How about starting with a lake or two? Sorry, I'm so used to like Incarnate and Dungeon Draft that I can't believe how many different hotkeys. I cannot believe how many different hotkeys Wonder Draft and Dungeon Draft have, and all different computer programs. See, what we need is a universal standard of frickin'. We need a universal standard of hotkeys across everything. I mean, we kind of do, I guess, with like control. With like copy pastes, underline, bold, italicize, all that stuff is the same everywhere. But what is this? Oh, it's a piece of land in the middle of my water. No, don't hide that. That's important. Gone. Okay, so water ideas, land, freshwater color. We want to almost push this towards a gray. And kind of crank the alpha until it looks a bit icier. Freshwater outline color. Again, I absolutely hate the freshwater outlines and the freshwater settings of Wonder Draft. They just don't work. Okay, so that's going to be our little lakes there. Really quickly, I do want to bust that open. Oh, no, that's not at all what I wanted to do. I wanted to go to water. I want to go to the freshwater brush, and then I want to go ahead and add that little channel there. It's even too large. There we go. And then we are going to go ahead to symbols. We're going to go specifically to mountains, and specifically we're going to go to hills. And we're going to try to nestle these lakes inside of some hills. Maybe not those hills. But certainly something along these lines here. And I'm not 100% sure what will happen potentially with this, but and then I think we're going to use these mountains. Haven't used them in a little while here. We're going to use them. We're going to use them backwards. And we're going to go ahead and we are going to surround this lake with mountains. Yes, we are. I like the way that looks. I do have to actually stand up and check on my puppy in a minute here because I hear her making a ruckus. Maybe I can call her over. Sarah! Come here, Papa. Nope. Not biting. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to stand up and check on her because she is making some sort of mischief somewhere in my house, and, trust me, that never ends well. So please hold just one moment while I check my puppy. Sarah. She tried her best to get herself wedged in between the bed and the wall again. I'm proud to say she did not succeed. But we are back at it, just as if nothing had ever happened. I mean, this is the internet, so I'm sure that you forgive me for checking on my pupper of all things. Okay, let's try this. I'm not sure if this is gonna work, but you know, the beauty of map making and the beauty of art in general is the fact that it doesn't have to work. Because anything that doesn't work at least teaches me a lesson, even if that lesson is as blunt as you suck. Okay, let's switch to the smaller mountain here. Let's shrink that down to like a 25, and let's go ahead and make a much more interesting mountain range. And maybe take one or two of the smaller, bigger mountains and put them in over here to give it some texture. One thing I like about these stamps is the big mountains. One thing I really don't like about these stamps is the fact that the small mountains have no personality to them at all. They're all the same little flat white cones. I do also wish there was a universal flip setting. I'm having to hold down the Alt key right now. For the sole reason that I want the shadow of my mountains to all be on the same side as the shadow of my hills, which means I have to flip them, every single frickin' one of them. Okay, so this mountain range looks really good. This one looks a bit crap, but that's okay. I'm not about to repeat my daily map of a couple days ago and spend 5 hours on this. So we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna expedite the process. We're gonna zoom out. We're gonna switch back to our regular mountain brush. We're gonna scale it to the same size as previously, and we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna make a mountain range somewhere. Doesn't matter where. If I was on a clumped trees perk a while back, I am now on a clumped mountains perk. Now, long gone are the days of sprawling mountain ranges that that curve along the outside of my map only. And thus born are the days of little clumps of mountains that tell different stories. I mean, mountains are one of my favorite things in nature, in life. I think they're so interesting, even if in reality mountains do not look the way that I draw them. Even if in reality a lot of these mountain ranges would not be possible, I like to think that they can. God. Oh, that's... Ugh. Allergies have been kicking my butt. My air conditioning unit has been pushing dust around my house. I need to get an air filter for my bedroom. The perks of having terrible allergies and living with a dog that sheds twice a year as well is the fact that there's dander everywhere right now. Let's make a real long mountain range. Look at that. Yeah, look at that. Look at that great shape. Awesome shape. Let's reinforce some of those bends a little bit and then leave it exactly how it was. That's an awesome mountain range. I love that. Alright, let's ride that mountain range momentum. And I think I don't give enough stock to mountain ranges that are just like a single set of mountains. I always do this, like I always color in large strands of mountains, make them very thick. I don't think that they need to be thick. I don't think that that's necessarily something that mountain ranges have to be. So maybe we do something. No, maybe we go out instead of in. Also, no, this area is a bit too constrained for such a large sweeping mountain range. But maybe we do something like that. Maybe we do something like that. Down like that. And then we make a little cluster of mountains here, and then we make a little cluster of mountains here. And then we make a little mountain range here. It goes like that. And maybe another one that kind of coils around the edge of this. Like that. Okay. I do think that maybe having a kind of a border range here in the south. That kind of went into the water a little bit there. I do think having this border range in the south would be an interesting idea here. Kind of lock that in like that. Make this area really mountainous, really rocky. Okay. I think that looks pretty cool. Of course, I keep finding places now that the entire map is kind of like crowned in mountains. Anywhere that there's not mountains just kind of looks wrong to my untrained and uneducated eye. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna fix that by adding more mountains. Look at that. Look at that. That looks awesome. Okay, one more, and I promise we're not gonna go crazy with mountains. I mean, we've already gone crazy with mountains, but we don't have to go crazy here with mountains. Look at that. So now, I think the next step here is going to be to delete everything that I put in the middle of this frickin' lake and just because it was so bad, so bad that we need to redo a little bit of it. I also want to delete all these hills. They don't fit. They don't look good, which means that I put all of these mountains down backwards without any reason to do so. But that's okay. Oh, please. Just like that. Okay. And then I like this kind of idea of these, like, just a couple of different stamps going down. So we're going to go ahead back to mountains. We're going to shrink these mountains way down, and we're just going to go ahead and add little ideas. Mountains near the lakes. Like that. Just like that. We're gonna go back to our bigger mountains. We're gonna scale them back up to size 40, which is the size we've used for the rest of the map. We're gonna finish the outline of this particular basin. Finish the outline of this particular basin that we took away with the hills. We're gonna add some flatter mountains here. And yeah, look at that. Okay. So that's that taken care of. Up next is trees. The obvious tree to use here would be pine trees, or would be these pine trees. But can the symbols even go small enough to facilitate that? And I think the answer is no. These are also supposedly pine trees, but these don't look like any pine trees I grew up around. We could also use these stamps here, the drawn trees. We could use the colored in pines, though I think that kind of takes away from the point of the map. Or we could use these kind of dead Christmas trees. And you know what? Maybe these are what we use. Maybe we go like with a line here. You know, maybe today's the day that we do all lines of trees. Make it super stylized. We'll just go like that. Go like that. Just using the awesome shapes we made with the mountain range and giving them a highlight of tree. Like that. Like that. Just the bottom edge of some of the mountain ranges getting this tree highlight. And you know, I'm not even going to zoom out to look at it until I'm done with it, because I know that I'm not going to like it. I'm going to have to redo it, and I don't want to. So go ahead and tuck that away in the corner there. Tuck that away in the corner there. Kind of clips through. This big swooping mountain range here. And you know, that honestly doesn't even look as bad as I thought it would. It does need some work. It absolutely needs some work, but we can do some work. We're not done with daily map just. So first things first, let's go ahead and fill in this little guy up here. It's like that. Maybe we'll do a line along the coast here. Just a little bit. Now these trees do fill in very nicely without having to do single tree clicking techniques. So we can go ahead and now we can kind of flake these off like that. Carve those into the mountains like that. Suddenly that looks way better. Let's deselect mountains here, and let's select all these trees because they're on the wrong side of the mountain range. The trees have always gone on this side of the mountain range. Now I know that this is kind of a an exception to that rule, but that is because we can trace this side of the mountain and kind of make that seem like an intentional continuation of that. Same over there. We put this like that, that like that. Almost even color this whole area in here. Color it in with tree. And then I like the idea of this being like a little tunnel into a forest. So now we trace like that. Now we trace like that. Kind of peter off the trees like that. Continue around the outside like that and that. Just to continue the motif that we've been going with so far. And add all these trees going on like that. We can add these going on like this, and then we'll only add forests where it makes sense, but we'll add trees to nearly every mountain range. And so now we have trees coming around here. And then you can see kind of like where the map tells us the forest should be, because we've got these areas where the trees like wrap around themselves, and then it's like, okay, that's a forest. Okay, then that's a forest. So we're gonna go ahead and make that a forest. Screw it. We'll make this a nice big chunky block of trees here in the south. Go ahead and we will add a few little miscreant trees before coming around down here. Maybe make that outer line a little bit more distinct. And then we're gonna fill this in because it's close to another forest, just like that. Now we're gonna start putting trees like that, and suddenly this becomes a forest. I put trees around here, and a circle in. Makes this kind of become a forest. Trees around the outside of this, like that. And maybe this becomes a forest right here, but a very interesting little... Actually, I was gonna say a little shallow one, but then this makes some sense to go like that then. Then maybe peter off these a little bit like that. Back of this mountain range could use some trees as well, which turns this into a forest. See, so we're letting the map decide here where we put the forests. We're not deciding where we put the forest. And I do like the little thin passageways that go from place to place here. I think that's a very nice, interesting idea. So this area is basically done. Let's move our attention down to here. I feel like we've done so much, but so little. This is actually a really fun technique. I never thought to do something like this. Here we are. This is what Daily Map is all about, the creativity and inspiration of somebody who knows that they must complete something in a day. Actually, you know what I can do? I can just... Oh, no, I can't. You can only redo one step. That's, maybe in a future update, Wonderdraft can add extra redo steps in case you really mess something up. I really messed up right there, and I paid for it. Okay. Remember when I said I really like those little tunnels? We're gonna make sure we keep that one open, but we are gonna fill in the blanks here, just like that. We're going to fill this in as well, just like that. We're going to go around the back of this little mountain range like that. And then maybe what we'll do to kind of make this look right is we'll attach these like that, and we'll make this a forest. Also, while my brain is on it, I want to... Oop, nope. There we go. I just wanted to get rid of that. And then symbols, forests, and then go back to paint trees. And go ahead and make this seem nice and open, make this seem nice and open, make this seem nice and open. We're going to go ahead and close this one in. Oh, nope. Which technically would make this whole bottom area a forest, but I kind of like leaving it open, so we're going to leave it open. Okay. This little area here. It's going to be nice and colored in. Just like that. Yeah. Then we're going to go ahead and go around the outside like this. Kind of thicken that up a lot. And you know what we'll do? We'll even go around a third time. We'll make this like almost a forest in and of itself. Just like that. Cool. We're gonna go the same route over here. Give the impression that there's still a way through the mountains, but we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna trace down that. Yeah, these tree brush makes it so easy to make things look good. It's doing all the work for me here. I am merely tracing at this point, and the software is doing all the work. Oh, Wonderdraft saving noise startling me again. Seems like a daily occurrence at this point. You'd think I'd be used to it 6 weeks down on daily map, but no. Not at all. I am still startled nearly every time it happens. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and finish our outlining here. See, originally I thought that we'd only outline one side of the trees and we'd have like this kind of like one-sided forest deal, but if I'd known that that wasn't going to be what I went with, I would have outlined everything. This side over here needs just something to keep it in line with the rest of the map, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to make this a forest just like that. Just like that. And we're just going to thicken this up a little bit. We're going to go around the outside of that mountain, because we missed one, and no mountain shall be left behind. We'll thicken this ramp up here. We'll continue this down like that. And we've missed an outcropping here, so we'll go ahead and we'll surround that with some trees. We'll surround this with some trees. All right. I think that once again we have to find a thing to fill this space here. I think that was a little too close to the water. I think something like that's actually fine though. Then we can go ahead and we can fill this in. Just like that. Maybe even leave some open space as we fill that in, like that. Perfect. Up here definitely needs something, so we're going to make this little nub end here a giant pile of trees. We're going to make it a forest. Paint that in. I love this tree brush. This tree brush is great. It really does make it feel like a big pine forest, which is exactly what I'm looking for. Okay, so this little switchback here that I really like the shape of, we're gonna start and we're gonna finally get to that. We're gonna go ahead and follow the logic we've been setting forward. This time we are going to add even more. Add this like that. We're gonna add this like that. And then this area here we're gonna fill with just a few sparse trees, just to give the illusion, that the forest is petering off. And just like that, we are close to done. I think we're gonna add like a little bit of a patch of trees here. I think that we are going to add an outline to this and a little patch of trees in here. I think we're going to continue this line. Oh, we're going to continue that line down like that. And I think that that's a daily map done. We could totally add locations to this. We could absolutely add some towns and some symbols. But I think that the beauty of this map is that there's so many different places where there could be a town or a city. And there's also some really obvious places like here, somewhere in the middle here, somewhere over here, anywhere up in here. That I think that you'd be hard-pressed to not find interesting places to put your own towns. So I'm going to actually not put towns on this here map. I do, however, just kind of want to flesh out this little island up here. Give it something distinct on it. and by something distinct, I mean a forest identical to the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of trees that already exist in this world. But yeah, I absolutely love the way this map turned out. A little bit of a winter wonderland map that turned into a really big, sprawling, frozen continent. This could definitely be a place in the elemental plane of water. This could absolutely be a place... maybe this is what your ice caps look like. Maybe there's vegetation that grew on your ice caps because it's hardy enough and magical enough to do so. Maybe all of these trees are crystals, like glass, that are grown from ice, given form by a god of nature. Tons of different ideas that you could use to make a cool story with this fantasy map. But if you enjoyed this video and you want to download this map and you want to add your own settlements to it, in the description down below there will be a link to Imager, whatever you want to call it, which will include this exact map for absolutely free on the condition that you only use it for your own personal games and your own personal projects. Do not try to monetize it or sell it as your own, for it is not. Besides that, in the description, there is also a link to the August map album, which is the entirety of Daily Map for the month of August. In total, there are 50 maps inside of that package, so check that out if you are looking for D&D maps, be that world maps, region maps, encounter maps, or more. And I will see you guys tomorrow for Daily Map number 43 as we crest the midpoint of September. Thank you so much for watching and have an amazing day.